Welcome to A Quest for Metal. We are back to another album ranking. Today we are doing Mastodon. That's right, I've done them before, a couple of years ago, but now they have Hushed and Grim out. It's been out for a while now, so I've sunk my teeth into it, and we're here to tell you where it's going to land on this list. And the list has changed, which is why I'm doing it. I'm not going to do it if it's exactly the same, because then it would be boring. But before I do this video, let me know down below what's your favourite Mastodon album, what's your least favourite, and what do you think of Hushed and Grim? Let me know and let's get stuck in with Once More Round the Sun. That's right, that is my least favourite. It was my least favourite last time and it's still my least favourite this time. I don't know what it is about this album that I don't like. As soon as I heard it, it was just kind of okay to me. It's in this kind of weird spot in the discography because I like all the other albums quite a lot. This one I never really want to return to. There's odd songs here and there which I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, that's pretty good. But then a lot of the others I'm just kind of scratching my head. No, it was my ear, but it's still on my head. I'm just kind of scratching my head thinking like, this just isn't as good as Emperor of Sand. This just isn't as good as The Hunter, even though Metal Trenches hates that. I don't know why. You crazy Skeletor, you. But it's like those albums, but inferior. I know the music video for Motherload is fun, and that's a fun song. You Take the High Road Now is kind of catchy, but it's also kind of generic, and I'm kind of like, meh, it's fine. Sleep in the Deep is pretty good. It's probably my favourite song on the album. But then a lot of the others, a lot of the deep cuts, I'm just not a big fan of. They're just kind of, I don't want to say boring, but just kind of average. This is an average album. I don't think it's great. I don't think it's terrible. It's just kind of there. That's what I feel with this album. I saw them on this tour. I've seen them on so many tours, actually. They're probably one of the bands I've seen the most. But it never did anything for me, and I saw them on this tour and it wasn't that good, so yeah, it's coming here. Next up is Emperor of Sand. That's right, Emperor of Sand. This one is way better. So from here on out, I actually really enjoy all these albums. Emperor of Sand has way better songs on. I mean, Jaguar God is a classic. That is one of the best Mastodon songs, and I could put that on anytime and have a blast because I love it. This album's more on the more experimental side of things, just like newer Mastodon is. In the kind of Once More Around the Sun and The Hunter, that trilogy, I'd say, because Hush and Grim is its own thing, that trilogy is always just pretty good. It's never going to be as good as some of the heavier stuff or some of the other stuff. This one does have way better songs on. Steam Breather and Show Yourself are fun songs. Precious Stones is great. Andromeda. There's some actual classic songs on here if you dig deep. And a lot of the deep cuts on here are way better than the deep cuts on Once More Around the Sun. It's a more consistent album. It's a more fun album. It's a better album overall. It's coming here, Emperor of Sand. I think it's a bloody good album. So next up is The Hunter, rounding off the experimental trilogy. The more poppy experimental trilogy. The Hunter is here. I always liked this one. As soon as it came out, I loved it for its change of pace from Crack the Sky. A lot of people hated it because it kind of changed from Crack the Sky. Went from progressive, spacey metal into this kind of just mainstreamy poppy kind of stuff. But I liked it. I liked all the songs on here. And some of them are so weird, I don't know how people can call it poppy. Because stuff like The Sparrow, like, that's not, or Creature Lives, come on, that song is just creepy and amazing as hell. The creature lives. It's creepy. Curl of the Burl always gets stuck in my head. It's just a curl of the burl. Blasteroid, yeah, this album's amazing. Actually, this album's great. Those other albums I mentioned, pretty good. This album, I love. From here on out, I love all these albums, so The Hunter's coming here. Amazing album. Next up is Remission. That's right, the classic, the debut, which I think I had last time for some stupid reason. I don't know why. This is crushing. This is heavy. Every song just pummels you into dust. It's just the most ferocious album they've ever done. It's the most sludgy album they've ever done, because they did start out as kind of like a sludgy band. And March of the Fire Ants, come on. Just the guitar in March of the Fire Ants makes your eyes burst out your sockets. Crusher Destroyer as well to start off the album. So many heavy songs on here. A lot of crushing riffs and ones that just get stuck in your head. It's a headbangy album. It's a great album and I could easily put it higher. But for me, it's coming here. Next up, Uh-oh. Blood Mountain is next. My list has changed a lot, because this was higher than Leviathan on my previous ranking. Now it's down here. I love it still. This is still like a 9 out of 10 for me. I love all these songs on here. The Wolf is Loosed, Crystal Skull, Colony of Birchman, all classic songs. Again, a heavy album. Kind of like Leviathan, mixing in progressive tones with the heaviness and the sludginess to make a pretty much a perfect album. It's fantastic. Everything I said in my previous video, copy and paste it onto this. I still love it. It's still great, but other albums have overtaken it. So let's get to my top 3, which number 3 is Hushed and Grim. That's right, the latest album by Mastodon. What is it doing at number 3? Higher than some of these others? You've got mad, Questy. Nope. This album's amazing. It's a double album, first of all, so more songs for your buck. And unlike the more pop-orientated experimental trilogy, I'm going to get shit for saying pop, aren't I? I don't care. Unlike them, this is its own entity. This is unlike anything Mastodon's ever done. It's more depressing. It's a darker sounding album. There's probably only probably a couple of heavy songs, but most of it's very mellow. It's a more personal album. It's about personal struggles and the death. I think it's the death of the band manager or producer. I can't remember. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. Every song hits harder. Just the solos, just the mood of it. I love my doom. You know, Catatonia, Anathema, Paradise Lost, all this stuff. And this feels like it fit right at home in some of them. All the songs hit, and they hit hard. It's an album that takes time to grow. I wasn't a fan of it at first. Listen to it more and more, and it's one of the catchiest Mastodon albums. Every song is amazing. Every single song is amazing. It's one of the best. I could put it at number 1. I could easily put it as number 1. But they have 2 other albums I just can't do it for. So, a lot of people, it's a hit and miss album. Some people hate it. Some people say it's one of the worst of the year. I don't understand that. Maybe you don't like slower albums. Maybe you don't like doom. You might not like it. But I love that stuff, so it's coming high for me. I love the personal nature of the album, so yeah, it's number 3. Number 2 is Crack the Sky. Yep. Oh, wow. He's not put it as number 1. This is the Space album. Yep, but there's also a Whale album. Now, this album is a 10 out of 10. It's one of the greatest albums ever. Every song in it is just extraordinary. From Oblivion, the kind of sway nature of everything, you get lost in the stars, divinations, banjo, come on. Every song, the longer songs like The Lost Baron, Crack the Sky, everything is a journey, everything is just larger than life, and I've overplayed it, probably. It's probably the one I don't want to go back to, but that being said, it's still a classic, and I'm not going to put it down just because I've played it too much, because it is one of the best albums ever, and it's coming here at number 2, so that means number 1 is Whale Time. Whale ahead! Wrong Whale band. Leviathan is my number 1. It's rose up to the top. I think I had it as number 3 last time, but now it's number 1. It's numero uno. And it's just a great album. It's a concept album, about Moby Dick, the White Whale, Hearts Alive, Joseph Merrick. Blood and Thunder is my favourite Mastodon song of all time, and that's on this album. And, Harpoons Thrust in the Sky, you got to scream that out loud. When you see the White Whale, it's so good. Every song on here is just a journey. The whole album is a journey. This and Crack the Sky are pretty much on level, but for me at the moment, The Whale takes it. The Whale takes it! Leviathan, one of the greatest concept albums of all time. Heavy songs, really experimental songs, still sludgy, and it's awesome. It's great, and it has whales in. So yeah, Leviathan is the best Mastodon album of all time. So that was my list. Let me know down below what you think. Where would you rank Hushed and Grim? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Let me know down below, and we'll see you again on another Quest for Metal.